Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be Glaive eSports Rose taking a pretty decisive victory there in game number one, Stone. Can't say that we're really all too surprised. I mean, Kiba ended up getting his Kaisa, and he absolutely popped off on the pick. Got that nice quadra kill there in the middle of the game. Brought him up way ahead of Gold. Obviously, he was well ahead before that, but it really just kind of was a dominant performance from start to finish here. And realistically, Omega Gaming Unleashed is going to have to unleash their draft and do something a little bit different here for game number two.
Yeah, every time I think I have Glaive figured out, they just play their macro just a little bit better. And I really have to credit this squad for, even though they're one of the top teams in the league, they've really just taken it upon themselves to keep on improving all the way through the finals. That Omega Gaming Unleashed was the first to the bottom side of the map, but it didn't matter because the Olaf was able to get a blue buff timer and just perma invade that blue buff, give it over to the Cassiopeia, and Anivia kept running into these mana issues, and they were just living in the jungle. I think Gungeon said it best that wasn't Omega's blue buff. That wasn't their jungle. That belonged to Glaive.
Yeah. No, it absolutely did, and really just start to finish, a wonderful performance there from Glaive Esports Rose. Gonna go up here in the series, 1-0 up against Omega Gaming Unleashed. We talked a little bit about it, right? We had that Varus pick that kind of came through. We did get the on-hit Varus version as opposed to the poke champion Varus that maybe I was kind of expecting going into this game number one. But at the end of the day, Glaive really drafted, I think, very well around that, being able to pick up the Olaf, being able to pick up the Alistar, be able to get themselves out of kind of sticky situations throughout that series, and it really did make a difference. Going forward, though, it really is just something you've got to see something different, right? You have that draft. It felt maybe a little bit disjointed there towards the end, but at the end of the day, the better team on the Rift typically will win. So, all in all, I mean, if you're Glaive Esports, I don't think you really change a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't think Glaive needs to change too much about their draft. They've proven that they can beat you with this comp, and I think they're willing to do it again. That's what they've showed us in the past. They just kind of stick to the same strategy and like see if you can beat it, is what they kind of say to their opponent. But I want to take a look at Omega Gaming's draft and talk about what worked a little bit. The mid jungle 2v2 we kind of hyped up in the pre-show and talking about it on the analyst desk, and it did go the way of Omega Gaming until a 4-0 Kaisa walked into the middle lane and shot the turret and killed everybody, right? And so I think that the Anivia pick and the way they're playing around the mid and jungle 2v2 is really good. Where they need to ramp up their effort is in the bottom lane. Anivia had a teleport advantage with the Cassiopeia bringing Ghost that game. She didn't even bring Cleanse, she brought Ghost. And it was never really used. I feel like Anivia and Karma could have been TPing into these bottom lane skirmishes. Maybe they didn't have good timers, and maybe that's just part of Glave's strategy to communicate that. But they can TP into these bottom lane. I want to see more. I want to see people show up to these bottom lane skirmishes, support their bottom lane, and let them know, like, hey, we got you. Like, we're here for you. We're not going to let them just dive you over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of exciting, though. You're watching Glaive Esports kind of diving between the two mid turrets. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's a little bit of soft inting, I would say, or no, not soft inting, limit testing there on the Kaisa. But we're getting ready to start up the draft here in game, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have to see what is going to be different here. We do see the Thresh getting banned out once again here by Omega Gaming Unleashed. And, honestly, you say putting up some pretty impressive performances on the champion in the past. And so far, so good. Draft's looking pretty much the same.
Yeah, so far the bans are coming out the same, and I think that that's good. I don't think there's anything you really want to throw a ban at. Um, Teams in this league have just shown that, like, we think
Kaisa.
we can play into Kaisa, right?
Yeah,
Like, we
Kaisa.
think that we can play into Kaisa. Um, we've never seen a team really try to ban it. I do know that actually, Omega Gaming tried to ban it in the first time these teams met, or these teams being the Glaive, the Keep It Up Glaive Esports. They banned the Kaisa, and he just picked Ezreal and went 7-0 and 11. So he's not a one trick by any means. So I wonder if they've just figured out that throwing a ban at the champion doesn't do much, and they need to just figure out a way to play around it.
Absolutely here. And Lucian going to be banned again. Please, Omega Gaming Unleashed, give the Kai'Sa the ban. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, South Nation has spoken for Omega Gaming Unleashed. Finally, Kiba not going to be able to get his hands on that 80 carry pick, and it's going to be interesting to see how Glaive will kind of pivot around this. The other option that you do have, obviously being on blue side, is you could pick up the Kai'Sa for yourself if that is something that you are comfortable playing into the bot lane. But obviously here, going to be able to take that one off the table. Omega Gaming Unleashed, they have to have something cooking up here, and it's going to be Hecarim first pick actually in the jungle.
Yeah, I remember having Kiba on an interview at one point in time, and they were just like, "Hey, how do you keep getting Kai'Sa?" And I was like, "Well, my jungler's a Smurf on Hecarim, so you've got to ban it." And now they're showing that like, "Hey, we're gonna pick the champions that we're comfortable playing, and just see if you can beat it." So look for the jungle, the Hecarim, to sort of make some plays this game. Seeing as how he hasn't really played it too much, usually it's
Yeah.
banned away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so here for Omega Gaming, they were able to take that Hecarim pick away from McShoots and also ban away the Kai'Sa from Kiba. So at the end of the day, I think that that is a pretty good deal that you have on your side here. Udyr going to be the response here. So Hecarim, Udyr being some of the top tier junglers, going to get picked up once again here in the second game of the mid league finals. And Tristana going to be the pick for good old Kiba down there towards the bottom lane. Interesting enough, here Misfortune does get picked up as the response into it, so you do kind of have those team fight oriented compositions starting to kind of rear its head here for Omega Gaming Unleashed. They will end up rounding that out with the Karma, so definitely going for the team fight this time around. And hopefully they can get something kind of rolling with it. I don't know how I really felt about the Karma top, so I would maybe like to see this down towards the bottom side of the map. I don't think that you want to play the Karma into Cho'Gath lane again. It just allows Cho'Gath maybe a little bit too much freedom towards the later stages of the game, knowing how much of a late game scaling beast that he can be. And Misfortune, not exactly known as being a strong auto attack AD carry. So Omega Gaming, they're definitely going to have to play, I think, smartly up around this towards the top side of the map. You can't L forward for your top laner to allow this Cho'Gath to do whatever he wants, and you also need to empower your AD carry here towards the bottom lane. So I want to see Omega Gaming put a little bit of priority on that top pick.
Yeah, putting a little bit of I would like to see them play toward the top side of the map a little bit. I know their bottom side is kind of maybe in a poor mental state at the moment. They just kind of get a lot of pressure. They really absorbed a lot of pressure last game. So I don't know if they need any help down there, but I think that playing toward the top side of the map is a good strategy against Glaive. Trying to put pressure on this Cho'Gath, and hopefully Simulacrum has a counter pick available.
Absolutely here. Glaive Esports gonna have themselves the first pickup here in the second phase of picks. And what will we see? No mid laner quite yet. No support champion locked in. Could lock in that bot lane. You may see the Karma flex towards support or mid lane. But it will be the Alistar one more time. Hand it on over to Issei. Strong pick here. And can kind of get rid of some of that engage. Does provide a lot of appeal as well for this Tristana, who is already going to be, I think, quite safe in this game. And Glaive Esports, I would imagine that they're looking to probably pick up some kind of control mage here. You don't exactly have a whole lot of AP options quite yet, but Tudamax has been known for time and time again for his Syndra, but there it is. It's actually going to get picked up by Princeton, who has been equally as proficient on the champion. This split a contested pick throughout this series. I'm sure it will continue to be, but I do like the safety that you're kind of picking up for yourself here. But Omega Gaming, they're quite squishy right now. Hecarim, not exactly. Well, now he's building more of the full tank with the
Sure.
turbo chem tank and things like that. But Urgot, okay, I think that's a solid pick up towards the top side. Obviously, with the R, it does allow you, if you are able to get that Cho'Gath down low enough, to kind of contest him with that execute. So interesting to see that getting picked up. But I do like the Urgot into Cho'Gath here.
Yeah, I really had some concerns about Omega Gaming's team composition. I was worried that they were picking a little bit too scared, but then I see this Urgot come out and I go, okay, nope, they just have a plan to play toward the top
Ooh,
side of the map. And Tuda Max locks in the Zed pick against Syndra, which I think it's a good matchup. And again, I have my eyes on this mid jungle 2v2
yeah.
because I think the Syndra is going to need a little bit of support as this Zed level 6 comes around and Udyr is running out of the jungle.
Yeah, it's definitely a an interesting matchup. Zed can kind of avoid a lot of the damage that Syndra can put out with the Shadow Clone. Syndra doesn't always build the Zhonya's as a second item. So that could be delayed as well. Could maybe cause a little bit of issues for Princeton there in the mid lane if he's able to coordinate here with the Udyr. Syndra being a relatively immobile mage in the mid lane means that she's really going to want to be holding on to that scatter the weak to be able to push back that Udyr and kind of be able to avoid maybe some of that damage that'll come out with that wombo combo of the Udyr and Zed in the middle lane. That all being said, though, here, I think the Syndra is a perfectly fine pick as long as you're not getting pressured continually in the lane and you're able to hold your ground and continue to farm and CS up.
Yeah, I like Omega kind of trying to shut down this Zed, move into the late game. I'm a little worried about this Tristana. I think that it is a top tier champion in the bottom lane. I actually prefer it over the Kai'Sa. So it was like, you banned my Kai'Sa. Okay, cool. I'll just pick Tristana, which is just as good, really, or even better. And it can also be just as aggressive. That early level 2, a lot of damage can come out. So look for an all in early, which we know Kiba and Issa like to do. Eyes on the bottom lane here early on, but if they can weather the storm, if Omega can really weather this early game storm and get past 15 minutes without too many deaths, I think they have a good shot with these team comps.
I think they absolutely do as well here. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already gone ahead and grabbed yours, please pick up your bingo cards. I'm actually sitting with one more that I need. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is until after the game, but I'm excited. I hope you
claim
are
that you're
too.
cheating. You're just
I
absolutely
do
too
not.
good at bingo and
I
excellently
post
mid league.
I post all of my results on Twitter. You can go check it out. But with that being said, here, draft getting ready to wrap on up. Going to be interesting here. Tale of Giants here in XLNC's mid-league finals, kind of bashing their heads against each other. Omega Gaming Unleashed, unfortunate first series there. Glaive eSports really kind of flexing the muscles and looking very, very, very strong. And it's going to be a matter of whether or not Omega Gaming Unleashed has the mental to really break out of that shell and come in swinging here in game number 2. It will be critical, I think, for them to be competitive in this series. I think that going 2 games in a row to start a series off with a bit of a disadvantage, just for one, but 2, to be crushed as ruthlessly as you were in game 1, to have a repeat in game 2 might just be what tilts Omega Gaming Unleashed over the edge, mentally speaking. With that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you here on the flip side of this intermission, and we will see Chief Chirpa and Gunjin out there on Summoner's Rift. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Do not change that browser. We'll see you on the Rift.
finals, Glaive eSports Rose versus Omega Gaming Unleashed. I'm Chief Chirpa03, joined on the desk as always by Gungeon. Gungeon was already telling me about it pre-show. This is a lot better of a draft, he's saying.
I very much like the no pun intended, but the adjustments made by the side of Omega Gaming. I think that this draft is so much better. Obviously, we are getting just a fan out from both teams, so not too much going to be happening. No cheeky invades from either side. So I'm going to be able to kind of talk about the draft, and I kind of really want to break it down. And I know Stone and ID were doing a really good job of breaking it down. But in terms of what they did well, I think in this draft is I think that the second round, the Karma flex pick, I think really messed with the side of Glaive here. They end up taking Karma last of the first round for the side of Omega Gaming, and it kind of baits Glaive into banning out the Blitz Nautilus because they thought, oh, it's probably just gonna be Karma top again. We'll just opt into this Cho'Gath matchup, and they actually end up getting counterpicked because Glaive pick up the Cho matchup, and then they end up banning out two supports, which obviously the Karma is a support, baits the two bans, and then now, in terms of overall lane states, I think that all sides of Omega Gaming's lanes are actually very solid. Obviously, the mid lane is very volatile because we are going to be seeing a very spicy matchup of the Syndra into Zed. But this matchup of the Misfortune Karma versus the Tristana Alistair, adjustment in the sub with the rune setup, with the Arcane Comet from the side of adjustment, what this tells me is that they're going to farm, they're going to play back, and they're going to try their best not to get 2v2 killed. Does that mean that it's not going to happen? Probably not, because Kiba and Issei are still a great bot lane. But I think that the setup that they have is making it so that now the onus is now on the rest of the map. And with the lane states that we have, especially with Simulacrum into this Cho matchup, which I think is a great matchup for the side of Urgot, I think that Glaive or Omega Gaming have put themselves in a much greater spot to scale win lanes kind of just with the champ matchups. And if you're looking on the side of Glaive, I want to point this out to you, Chief. They have no magic damage. Obviously, Mio's going to deal a little bit of magic damage, but you have double tanks plus a Karma against no magic damage. If this game starts going very late, it is going to be either all on the shoulders of Kiba, or the tanks are just going to be way too tanky for anybody to kind of kill.
Oh, for sure. That is a very important point to point out. The less magic damage may have been intended, may have been just a small draft mistake. But either way, I do hope that this game is pretty close.
I think the game will be close, and I think that you mentioned it. Like, maybe it's a mistake, but I think it's just disrespect for the side of Glaive. They're just like, we're gonna beat you with this. Like, the Zed pick from Totemex is a complete, like, disrespect. Like, I'm just gonna beat you on this pick. I watched Totemex play this into the Yasuo of Sharp Circle. It's a pretty good Zed. Totemex played it pretty proficiently. It obviously didn't have as much effect because I think that was just a Kiba Kaisa game where he just kind of smurfed on it, which I want to say ban Kaisa finally happened. They finally were like, I'm not gonna, you know what? It's not my job to crack the code that is Kiba's Kaisa. Let me just ban it out in the pick and ban. And finally, we see a game without Kiba's Kaisa in the mix. We are going to see a little bit of trading in the early game. And now, this is something I want to point out. With this Misfortune Karma pick, right now, adjustment and the sub can just push in the lane. And then the sub can just go roam and keep the mid and jungle safe. And just have this mid jungle kind of scale up and become the monsters they will be in the late game. And so now, look at this. I like this so much more for the side of Omega Game. It really shows kind of their strengths as a team with the sub being this roaming threat and Fallen Armus getting ahead in the early game.
Definitely. Udyr, McShoot already looking for something possibly bot side, but instead we'll just decide grab a back, possibly grab that Bomby Cinder, be able to get ready for the Drake, but instead the flash forward from Issei and the flash from adjustment is going to be flash trade in the bot lane.
They get the flash trade, but it's fine. Oh my god, Miho might solo kill him.
Oh, flash out from Smallcrum. Mio, I don't think is going for anything else. Totemex knows that the junglers are bot sides, so can go for that little bit of a hefty trade in the mid lane.
The Cinder versus Zed matchup. This is definitely a matchup that is obviously favored for the side of Zed as the kind of item breakpoints do end up happening, the Zed with the ultimate is able to dodge most of the Cinder Balls, and he's just able to get a lot of damage down. That's why you do see Princeton taking the exhaust just for the lane matchup, just to make sure that he doesn't end up dying too often. And it's just good from the side of Totemax to abuses because they will need to. For the side of Glaive Esports, they need to have the same type of game they had in game number 1, where they get ahead early and they kind of become this like mid-game team and they just like snowball off Drakes, because as you get into this late game, I mentioned it already. Oh my god, mid!
Yeah, make shoot. He's flashing forward, and Totemax flashing in is going to be exhausted. Princeton grabbing that kill. Fallen Artemis not looking for something, but make shoot is caught in between a rock and a hard place, just running around. Fallen Artemis making sure that Smallcomb is able to get that kill as the flash out from the sub, but here comes the jump in from Kiba, the triple-double backflip, just to get right back out.
Hey, triple-double backflips in, and I guess the adjustment of the sub are playing super respectful of Kiba there, but it didn't feel like there was any like more damage that Kiba really had. He had already placed most of his bomb damage, so they're actually able to get the sub summoner spells without actually investing weight too much at all. So it is going to be advantage for the side of Glaive Esports, and we are going to have to see if the Glaive Esports bot lane can get it done again. They've been able to get solo kills, it feels like, against every single bot lane they've faced in the playoffs, and it just feels like it's a matter of time until I see Issei catch another player out. But the adjustment and the sub are playing it really well, and that's all they need to do. They just need to play the lane safe, scale up, and let their other lanes kind of carry through, because you do have Fallen Artemis on this very strong Hecarim pick, and he's already picking up the CS lead, kind of farming his jungle very efficiently, as McShoots is going to opt for this first Dragon of the Mountain. We are going to get a Infernal Drake second, so it will again either be an Ocean or a Cloud Soul game.
Always that Ocean Soul or Cloud Soul. Always gotta get the interesting Drakes out first.
Yeah, we can't have any fun. No more Infernal Soul maps. Nothing cool. Just boring speed. But that I can't wait. I can't wait if we do end up getting to the Cloud Soul point, Chief, for you to cast the Hecarim moving at 9,000 movement speed as he runs into the back line. That's just fun.
Or even better, the Udyr.
the man bear pig running as fast as possible into the face of Omega Gaming's open hands. Again, right now we are kind of in a lull state because neither team has too much going for them. We in the early game, they're just kind of farming out, kind of trying to feel how game number 2 is going, as game number 1 was such a kind of one-sided stop for the side of Glaive Esports Rose. It just felt like there was nothing much that Omega Gaming could do after kind of a bad early game from the side of Fallen Artemis on that Predator Volibear, but his Hecarim pick is looking a lot better. I did like what Glaive did in the draft, though, that they kind of just said, we're gonna ban out the support pool plus the Kindred pick from the side of Fallen Artemis, and we're just gonna trade top tier junglers. Like, when you are on the red side, that is something you can do in the pick and ban. Kind of tips for your Clash game. Tier 1 clashes, Tier 2 clashes, I don't judge. Wherever you are playing Clash, if you don't have kind of priority or you don't have the first round pick, you can just ban out none of the top tier jungles and just either force the blue side to ban them out or just trade top tier junglers. And that is what Glaive do in this situation, kind of trading the Hecarim for the Udyr, getting both champions kind of up in that first round. We are going to see McShoots invade into the blue side as kind of the game is entering the lull state that I mentioned.
Exactly. And bot lane starting to hit level 6. This is where we start to see the danger in these bot lanes. Kiba and Issei with the double knockbacks and adjustment with that bullet time. Just so
stationary.
Yeah, stationary.
Just waiting for Issei. Play mid.
Yeah, play mid. Totemax trying to do whatever he can. Pops that ultimate. Princeton now exhausting. Going right back. Totemax getting burned down. Will not be enough as the rotation from Miho is coming down.
Yeah, good trade from Totemax to try to just kill Princeton. He saw that Princeton had no mana, but he did end up having enough mana for the unleashed power there, and it just forces Totemax back. Not too much invested except the ghost from the side of Fallen Artemis. and overall just a kind of neutral state of the game, which is again good for the side of Omega Gaming. As this game gets later and later, you're gonna have these beefy boys of the Hecarim and the Urgot, and with a Karma kind of right in your pocket, it's going to be really hard for the side of Glaive Esports Rose to just honestly kill them off. And there's so much threat on the side of Kiba when you have Bar Armis just dashing into the backline plus the Misfortune bullet time. It's hard for Tristana to really position and kind of get the damage off she needs to get in these teamfights, because she is the only source of consistent damage. Totemex Zed, as much as you can watch Laceration highlights, and I watch them as a gold Zed main in at heart, I love playing Zed, but when I face against comps like this, it is a bad time. But bot lane,
Yeah, Kiba looking for something. The ultimate coming out from Adjustment, but a beautiful knockback. The Buster shot to cancel. Kiba getting healed by that is a passive. As here comes the Fallen Artemis as Adjustment just being taken down so quickly by SA. TP coming in from Miho as the bomb. Miho taking away that kill with the Beast.
and it looked so good for the side of Omega Gaming there, but they just overstepped. Fallen Artemis was not in a position to try and continue chasing that plate. And now, the thing that we mentioned, the thing that this bot lane was picked for, do not give Kiba a lead. It feels like he's already got one, as he's able to get this bot lane tower. He's able to sit on that 1800 gold mark, finish his mythical item, and he's going to be able to kind of be unlocked onto the map. Tragedy for the side of Omega Gaming.
Oh, very tragic. Right now they're sitting on most of their gold for Omega Gaming in their mid laner, Princeton, as Totemax may be getting cut out here. Misses the W over the wall, forced to flash, as here comes the onslaught of shadows. Fallen Artemis not going to be the target. Totemax popping that ultimate. It's Fallen Artemis getting just ghosted, and the beautiful catches him with the Simulacrum ulti. It was just such great sniping there.
Simulacrum just says, get over here, and pulls him through, but it doesn't matter, as Glaive Esports Rose is going to be able to pick up the Inferno Dragon, pick up that second dragon, and you can already see the state of the game kind of changing, as they're going to force Kiba, or not force, but they're going to force Princeton to eventually have to kind of sit in that side lane. This is really good for the side of Glaive Esports, and I want to kind of talk about why, because now they're able to keep Kiba and Issei in this mid lane. You're going to force Princeton into that long bot side lane, and that's when Totemax just feasts on him. This Zed versus Cinder matchup is really even on both sides if they're playing the mid lane, where Princeton can just either exhaust him if he gets a really good combo in and just walk back to his tower, but now that he's going to be stuck in the long lane, the side of Glaive Esports is going to try to exploit that as much as possible, and this is going to get really scary for Omega Gaming as this mid game kind of is getting started.
Definitely, as this is a 3-man down bot side. Makes Shoot does not have any flash, but Boy runs fast, gets knocked back. Issei trying to rotate over, just a little bit too late. Knocks back Fallen Artemis. Let's see if it's enough. Fallen Artemis does have that ghost just wearing off now.
But look what they get on the side of Glaive Esports. They're able to pick up another 2 plates in the mid lane, and it just feels like gold is being funneled into Kiba over and over again, and he's gonna get close to that first item, Mythic. And once this Ocean Dragon comes up in about 4 minutes, it's gonna be scary, because for the side of Omega Gaming, they want to scale, they want to get it to where their tanks are really tanky, and it's gonna be hard for Kiba to kill through them. But right now, Kiba is at such a large gold total that he's gonna be able to kind of just shred through the tanks. They don't have the tank items that they need.
For sure. Now, as you said, Kiba farming up this mid lane, sending Totemax down to the bot lane, as Miho in the top lane just continuing on pushing this tower. Like you said, Drake coming up in about 3 minutes. If we look at items, Syndra, Princeton forced to take those plated steelcast for the all AD team that is Glaive Esports, as McShoot may be getting caught out in the enemy jungle.
I'm surprised Princeton ended up opting for the Ninja Tabby there. I would have liked more just to see the Seeker's arm guard. It is a decently cheap buy. It's just going to be that 1,000 gold mark, so I'm surprised that he ends up taking the Ninja Tabby, maybe for some of that Keepa damage, but I feel like as a Syndra, it really gates you in your build, as you're kind of really far behind Totemax in terms of item pool, and you, as a Cinder, you just don't want to build Ninja Tabby as kind of your first 1100 purchase. So I'm surprised he ends up not picking up just the Seekers and getting closer to that Zhonya's Hourglass. Items are coming in for both sides as we have the double Chem Tank completed on the side of McShoots and Miho. They're going to be wanting to run in. They're going to be wanting to run in fast. And again, that Ocean Drake is coming up in a minute and 55, and they have all the positioning. Kiba is sitting on his Kraken Slayer plus his Zerker Greaves already. He's at a huge power spike. And at this moment, I would say that the team fight, in terms of overall composition, is favored for the side of Omega Gaming. But with the kind of control that Kiba has, and in these, if the Dragon fight or the Dragon positioning turns into these small skirmishing, Kiba is so strong, he just blows up anybody.
Oh, for sure. The bomb dealing so much damage. Second Rift Herald being taken. Surprised they're not dropping a top lane to crack open that base, but instead they have different plans as Fallen Artemis and Totemax maybe duking it out here. As Drake coming up very soon. We may be seeing a fight here, folks. Fallen Artemis in the enemy jungle still, and Miho almost getting TP back up as he does take that top lane turn. Drake coming up in a minute.
Miho has his TP up in about 10 seconds, so any of that positioning, if Omega Gaming had gone a little bit too far, he could have teleported to get the flank off. They are just, both teams are trying to contest vision, but it feels like, again, Glaive eSports Rose is going to be able to kind of shut out any vision that Omega Gaming has as they try to approach this Ocean Dragon pit, and it's going to be scary because when you have to face check a team like the Alistair, like the Udyr, like this Cho'Gath, if you walk into any of that CC, you are just giving free time for Kiba to just one-shot you.
Oh, definitely. The longer these fights go on and the more times that Kiba can hit that bomb, the better off the members of Glaive eSports are going to be. Scatter the weak cooldown being used pretty early right now, not getting any stuns. As here comes the speed boost from sub, the AoE, as the splash, stun, and the bomb onto the sub. The sub taking so much damage, the bomb going off. There's some Malcolm in the back line. Here comes the bullet time. As the TP comes from Miho, gets the flash engage, tries to devour, but the sub getting that shield from, giving the shield over to Adjustment.
And even through that big, messy fight, overall 0-for-0, but control for the side of Glaive eSports as they're gonna put Omega Gaming Unleashed at a Ocean Soul timer at 24 minutes. Great fight from the side of Glaive eSports, getting the engage off from Issei, forcing pretty much all sums from that bot lane. That is going to be really important, and now it feels like all control is going to the side of Glaive eSports Rose again, and it just all comes from the side of that vision. The side of Omega Gaming, they have to kind of push up really far to try to contest any of this vision, and I wanted to mention this before the Dragon fight started. It feels like right now, with Princeton having to just sit mid with Adjustment in the sub, there's just one lane of farm that is just going to nothing. That tower is just eating up every single minion that Totemax pushes up, because right now Totemax has so much kill threat on the side of Princeton. Even through the exhaust, if he's able to land his full combo, he still kills.
Definitely, with how much damage as Zed can do. Just like that, Princeton taking out solo, even with the exhaust, Princeton going on in, getting right out, right sent back to Fountain. Totemax trying to get right out of here. The ultimate coming up from Fallen Artemis is just going to absolutely demolish Totemax there.
But look at that, they commit the 3 people, and now they have Rift Herald mid, they have Tristana mid. They're gonna get an inhibitor tower here.
Oh, this was not too bad of a play by Glaive eSports, trading those objectives for the kill, as Tristana really good at these siegings, as the knock up on to the sub as the sub getting devoured. Fallen Artemis not tanky enough yet, getting knocked right back up. Smoltrum trying to do anything he can to save his jungler, knocked back onto McShoot from Smoltrum. This in-air may be going down. Miho extremely tanky right now. Fear Beyond Dust being popped onto McShoot, but not going to be enough to jump back from Kiba. Bomb landing onto Simulacrum, as it looks like Kiba wanting to get as much tracks on that as possible. Miho being taken out solo. The Buster shot just not enough. Unfortunate.
And that's one of those situations where, again, that Glaive aggression I constantly mention, they just always try to push a little bit too far. They're always just a little bit greedy to get that next play, They should have been fine getting 2 towers mid, but they keep wanting to continue the play. But bot lane, Totemak,
Yeah.
oh no.
Adjustment doesn't stand a chance against the Zed.
It's just, as an AD carry main, see, my heart is conflicted because I'm a Zed main, but also an AD carry main. So I'm like, Totemak smurfing, and then I'm like, oh no, adjustment. Yeah, my
Yeah.
heart breaks every time you see that.
Exactly.
It's tragic, but again, this all comes down from that bot lane play that we talked about. This is what I love so much about League of Legends. And even, you can see kind of the... Oh my god, they go for the 20-minute Baron. This should not be
Again.
allowed. Teams should have like a post-it note, or like you have to set an alarm whenever you play against... Oh, Simulacrum is just dead.
Yeah, Smallcomb going right on in, trying to get out, but the just can't even say anything as the Onslaught of Shadows coming out. Fallen Artemis doing what he's trying to. Pretty tanky knock up the Paul Rush mistake as Fallen Artemis just getting devoured by Miho. Knock up landing on to adjustment cancels the bullet time. They do succeed at stalling the Baron, but look at Totemak pushing this bot wave as they may still get Baron.
Yeah, they get Baron, they're gonna get the bot lane outer tower, and everything is going for the side of Glaive. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because right now, Totemak has so much control, and he's gonna kill him again. Oh! Does he kill him? Oh my god, I thought he got him.
That 1 HP.
Wow, Totemak is absolutely smurfing on the Zed, and at 21 minutes, I feel like a broken record. Glaive eSports Rose picked up the Baron already. They are sitting on a 9,000 gold lead, and it is all Glaive all the time. And I said it in game 1, I'm just gonna say it again. It feels like Glaive is just inevitable. You can count on the 20-minute Baron. You can count on Kiba just absolutely dishing out the damage. And in this game specifically, it feels like Totemak is creating so much pressure in the side lane. He's a pressure vacuum for the side of Glaive eSports Rose, and they're just getting every single thing. And as this Ocean Dragon comes up in 30 seconds, this is going to be the final fight for the side of Omega Gaming. They have to make their stand right here, because if they don't, it is going to be Ocean Soul for the side of Glaive eSports Rose.
Miho having all TP available, excuse me, as the members of Omega Gaming send up this vision, doing what they need to be doing right now. Wards being destroyed, Zed waiting in this push. I don't know if the members of Omega Gaming know that Glaive eSports Zed is sitting in that push, or if maybe they think Kiba is sitting in that push, but whatever it is, it's a threat. TP coming in from Glaive. Miho is going in with the pop up. The Fallen Artist popping that Onslaught of Shadows as just Princeton being absolutely devoured. Adjustments ultimate not doing anything as Malcolm trying to tank whatever he can, but Totemak does too much damage to save, taking up everything, just created his life. Onslaught of Shadows was already used, so Fallen Artemis has no way to get out. The sub just getting knocked back, saving Kiba. Save the Buster Shot, saves the sub as McShoot is just running down the sub, gets that stun, gets that ace over to Totemak, as that will be Ocean Soul and most likely the game.
It's not going to be the game because Glaive eSports Rose just kind of want to be cookie cutter with it. They're going to pick up the Ocean Dragon, they're going to pick up the mid inhibitor, probably try to go for the bot inhibitor, but maybe they'll back off from the Glaive aggression. But what can you do from the side of Omega Gaming? Right now, it feels like there's just not enough damage. The threats they thought they had, adjustment just doesn't deal enough damage at the moment, and the tanks are so damn tanky. Cho'Gath is sitting at 3,700 health, 3.7k HP, 200 armor. There's nobody on the side of Omega Gaming that can do anything to him. They had a great draft, but the sub is dead. Oh no.
Oh
my god, I missed it.
What are you doing, Totemak? You have no way to get out. Shutdown going over to Princeton.
Totemak is like, I made a huge mistake. I just see like the movie scene where he's like, so you're wondering how I got here. And then you just see 4 members of Omega Gaming. Oopsie by Totemak, but it doesn't matter. They have so much control right now. It feels like Glaive eSports, to throw this game, would have to make 4 monumental throws, but it's just so hard because of the item lead that they have. And Totemak, even after making a little bit of an play, he say,
Yeah, Issei getting that pulverized. The bomb landed from Kiba does force the onslaught of shadows from Fallen Artemis. That is a very important cooldown now gone.
Important cooldown gone, and the second Totemax is up. He's gonna be able to start that bot lane split push, and the 4 members of Glaive Esports Rose have already set up camp in that top side. They're just gonna choke you out at this point, and at a certain point, especially around this second inhibitor, you're gonna have to just go for it. You're gonna have to just call it and try to make some sort of desperation play happen, because you can't just slowly get choked out from the side of Glaive Esports Rose. They already have the Ocean Dragon. They have so much damage on their team, and even when he's 0-0 and 10, Kiba is the strongest little AD carry you've ever seen.
Yeah, somehow has not gotten a single kill. As here comes the engage. Fallen Artemis getting the dash. Gets knocked up. Here comes the bullet time. As McShrew getting knocked back by Prince. Ultimate coming out from Totemax. Adjustment just getting deleted. As Kiba looking for something is just shooting the minions right now. McShoots getting the knockout double kill over to Totemax. Fallen Artemis is just running away as Miho just taking this turret. These turrets going down. Nexus going down. The onslaught shadows coming out. Fallen Artemis getting knocked back by the Buster Shot. But I'm not sure if there's anything you can do. This is a 3v5. Nexus going down. Game number 2 over to Glaive Esports Rose.
And at 26 minutes with a 14,000 gold lead, Glaive Esports Rose take a commanding 2-0 over Omega Gaming Unleashed. And I talked about it. I thought the draft was much better. I think that the flex pick karma had a really big effect, but it just didn't matter because they just overplayed a little bit in the bot lane, and that's all you need. If you give Glaive Esports an inch, they take a mile, and they took the entire body of Omega Gaming in game number 2 after just decisively closing them out in fight after fight after fight. And now this is going to be a big hurdle to kind of come over. If you want to make the reverse sweep happen, if you want to make it possible, someone is going to have to come up big. Someone's going to have to make the big hero plays. And right now, I don't know who it is on the side of Omega Gaming, but for the side of Glaive Esports Rose, they are feeling good. They're feeling great because every single player on their side is making big plays happen. And I have to give a big shout out to Totemax because he is playing absolutely unbelievably in game number 2.